This is We All Be, news-free Dixie for the 21st century. See how it works? Somewhere. Can you dig it?
Wonderful, infiltrating edition of We All Be, news-free Dixie for the 21st century. This is We All Be, news-free Dixie for the 21st century. Hope y'all can hear me at the sound of my voice. Hope all is well. We are currently in a Mercury, as a good friend of mine would say, Gatorade. This is Mercury Gatorade. So I just want to come to you all. It's been a long time, and I shouldn't have left you without some dope info to research. Not to smoke, but to research. Oh, yay. Oh, yay. We doing research. Oh, yay. We doing research. So this is Brother Ron. There's a lot to talk about, but I just want to get on here. And I guess I'm an analog guy. I'm an analog guy stuck in a digital AI world. I don't need to be the first person to say what's on my mind. Hell, I don't even have to be the last person, let alone to say, I don't have to say what's on my mind at any time. It's not even that important in the bigger scheme of things. And people, they would ask me because, I was friends with Baba Dick Gregory. I used to interview him. He used to go off on me, cuss me while he was dropping them jewels all over the ground. Hope y'all picked them up. People would ask, I wonder what Dick Gregory would say. I'll say, why? Why would you wonder? You know what he would say. It's a game. It's a game. It's a game, man. I say the man. He said it's a game. You know what I'm saying? He would say that playtime's over. Yes, Loud Dog. We all be out the dog. Thank you so much, my dear friend, for reminding me. I hope you can hear me. I was having issues with my microphone. And the devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. So I just wanted to share with y'all. It's so much going on. Oh, I forgot to thank you, Sister Law Dog, for coming in. Sister Law Dog, we love you madly. I hope you know that. I wanted to share last time because we were talking about Harry Belafonte last time, right? And I didn't get a chance to talk about my almost encounter with Harry Belafonte. I really respected Harry Belafonte. All he tried to do for our people, all that he did do for our people. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. This is the fierce urgency of now. Don't delay what you could do today. Don't delay what you could do today. I'm a victim of delay. I don't want to call it procrastination, but I guess it is a little bit of hesitation. But I'm learning you cannot be hesitant right now. You just got to go for what you know. Sister Law Dog, she says in her world, red means go. So I'm gonna go on red as much as I can this year and beyond because the stakes are really high. And I wanted to honor brother Harry Belafonte a couple years ago. I had a almost close encounter. It was a close encounter with brother Harry Belafonte. I've been a fan of brother Harry Belafonte for a long time. He was just a talented artist in his own right, an actor, singer, an advocate for the people, a true spokesperson for the greatness of Dr. King, a true believer. Like Harry overstood his role in terms of supporting Dr. King on his mission. He never tried to, steal the spotlight from Dr. King. He knew his role was to be a fundraiser, to raise awareness, to bring people on board the Dr. King Freedom Train. That was his job, and he did it very well. He actually helped plan the funeral for Dr. King, from my understanding. He helped select the suit that he was lying in state in, from my understanding. And also, he made sure to take out a life insurance policy so that Coretta and the children would be okay. So, Harry Belafonte was really his brother's keeper. And I remember when he was disinvited from Coretta's homegoing. Oh, that's what they say. I don't know. Maybe he refused to attend, or maybe he was not invited or disinvited because of his political stances which he's been very consistent on over his long life. And the thing about Harry Belafonte, what I get from him, stuff I read about him recently, and his overall that he was very approachable. He was to a certain degree accessible to people. He really believed in the cause to the end. From my understanding, he was consistent. Back in 2021 at the Tribeca Festival, it used to be known as Tribeca Film Festival, but now they call it the Tribeca Festival. And it's like, was started by Robert De Niro up in the Soho, Soho or whatever. They started Tribeca Festival. Anyway, I was invited by Baba Dick Gregory's son and the person overseeing his estate, Dr. Kristen Gregory. Shout out to him, Dr. Kristen Gregory, and the Gregory family, the Gregory clan. Who, ha, who, ha, who, the Gregory clan. Okay, anyway, he gave me a ticket to see the premiere of Baba Dick's Gregory documentary, which was going to come out on Showtime that summer of 2021. This was like Juneteenth, Father's Day weekend of 2021. So I drove over 14 plus hours to Maryland to connect with my sister. Then that morning, that Friday morning, I caught a mega bus from Baltimore to New York. So I was able to get to New York on that Friday of Father's Day weekend. So we saw the film on that Saturday. And I assume I brought a couple of plaques to honor people there. I thought Dave Chappelle would be there along with his mom. I thought Kevin Hart would be there. Lena Waithe, I assume she'll be there. She would have been there. And also the film producer of the film, who I met actually at Baba Dick Gregory's wake at Howard University back in 2017. So I know my understanding, Harry Belafonte was in the documentary as a talking head. And also that weekend, Stacey Abrams was going to receive the first ever Harry Belafonte Award, from the Tribeca Festival. And Harry Belafonte, he was living in New York City. He died in New York City, from my understanding. So he was in New York, longtime resident. He's from there, longtime resident of New York. As you all well know, that Dr. King used to go to Harry Belafonte's home in New York City to relax, to recuperate, to gather his thoughts about his next plan and plan of action. So with that said, I thought Harry Belafonte was going to be there. Dr. Kristen Gregory said he might make an appearance, but his health was not the best even 2 years ago, from my understanding. So I did this plaque that I had made up, featuring my artwork. This probably Dr. King and Harry Belafonte and Black Jesus. I did this drawing, I think I did this back in 2008, 2007. It's an ink pen drawing and whiteout. So this was going to be my plaque I was going to give to Harry Belafonte if I had the pleasure of seeing him. And what I think it says, the 2021 We All Be Artists Lifetime Achievement Award presented to brother Harry Belafonte for using his creative genius and exceptional dedicated service to the upliftment and empowerment of humanity. So I was going to present this to him. And I thought I was going to see Harry. So I made this plaque. Didn't see Harry. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. But you know what was interesting? Harry Belafonte actually was on my mind for several months. Like last year and this year, something kept on telling me. And I'm going to tell y'all something. This is real. If you hear this voice in your head telling you to do something, like if you hear a voice telling you need to connect with this person or you need to do that, I would suggest start trusting your intuition more, because the voice kept on getting heavier and heavier and louder in my mind. Ron, you need to give him Harry Belafonte this plaque as soon as possible. Because I started thinking after the passing of Sidney Poitier, after the passing of his good friend Sidney Poitier last year, that Harry, then you got Cicely Tyson. I had a chance to meet Cicely Tyson back in 2008, and I did meet her at the Peabody Hotel along with Medgar Evers' widow, Merle Evers, and also brother Earl Graves, the founder of Black Enterprise magazine. I believe I met him, and they were cool. They was all on the stage together. And so I didn't get a chance, take a picture with Cicely Tyson, but I did take a picture with Merle Evers, the widow Medgar Evers, and also Earl Graves. I believe his name Earl Graves, right? The founder of Black Enterprise magazine, who passed on maybe back in 2020. So I got a chance to meet him twice. But um, that was 2008. My mom actually organized the volunteers. Dr. Callie Hurd, Dr. Mom. My mom was a profound person. She actually helped organize the volunteers for Reverend Al Sharpton for the National Action Network when they came to town for the 40th anniversary commemoration of Dr. King's assassination in Memphis. This is back in 2008. Reverend Al Sharpton did not have like a real presence in Memphis. His organization, the National Action Network, did not. My mom has always been a volunteer. Tennessee is known as the volunteer state. My mom is the embodiment of that spirit of volunteerism. She actually organized the volunteers for FedEx for Alex Haley's homegoing. I remember going to Alex Haley's wake years ago, and my mom organized volunteers for his homegoing. You know, that's how committed she was to like serving the community. And she was working at FedEx at the time. But no, for Al Sharpton, she helped organize volunteers locally for his organization because their headquarters was the Peabody Hotel downtown. So my mom was an unsung hero in making sure Al Sharpton had a smooth weekend on week because he had volunteers from the Memphis area, courtesy of my mom, putting in phone calls and putting in work. And she type of person, she don't want the credit, she want to share. So it's like she said, it takes a village. Not Hillary, but mom also said it takes a village. Black folks came up with that phrase first. It takes a village to raise a child. But anyway, there was a couple of conferences going on back in 2008, around that week of April the 4th of 2008, leading up to April 4th. But I was at the convention center downtown, the local Southern Christian Leadership Conference. That's Dr. King's organization, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. They had an event honoring Harry Belafonte at the convention center downtown. They call it something else now. I think the Resonant or Resonant or whatever they call it. But anyway, I know it was known as the Cook Convention Center when I was growing up. So they was honoring Harry Belafonte at this event. So what was interesting was I was at Cook Convention Center. I was going to the Green for All conference. That was like headed by Van Jones's organization, Green for All, like environmental friendly activism. No, Van Jones is an interesting character. I met Van a couple of times before y'all knew him from being on the Crying Negro Network. He's always crying for white women and stuff. Before you knew him on the Crying Negro Network, known as CNN, Van actually was headed this organization out west in Oakland, the Bay Area, known as Green Fall. I think it still exists, but he had his conference in Memphis around that Dr. King assassination commemoration week and weekend. So I was in the Cook Convention Center then. And Van Jones is an interesting character. Van Jones is from Jackson, Tennessee. I believe he has a twin sister. His father's from Memphis, from Orange Mound, from the Orange Mound. His father's from Memphis. So he got some Memphis roots. And also, Van Jones' sons, he used to be married to Jimmy Carter's niece. Yes, the former President Jimmy Carter's niece. So he got kids by his niece. And Jimmy Carter is actually related to Berry Gordy through his mom. Jimmy Carter is related to Berry Gordy through his mama. Jimmy Carter's mama is connected to Berry Gordy's dad. So they blood cousins. So you look that up. Take a look. It's all online. But anyway, so the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was having their thing. And I saw this entourage, of men around this figure. Harry Belafonte had that distinctive big head. He had a big, distinctive Hollywood head. Some of the biggest stars have the biggest heads. Something about having enough head to fill up a screen, to make you want to scream, to fill up the screen, man. So anyway, Harry Belafonte was rushed along by this entourage of men, and they was like walking real fast. And I promise you, I was right across the room. Harry Belafonte looked my way, and he did a nod, like he acknowledged my existence. I was like, oh my God, Mr. Belafonte acknowledged me. even while he was being rushed to being to the ceremony to be acknowledged and celebrated, even while he was walking briskly, he took the time to look my way and to acknowledge me. That's how I feel about it anyway. So it made my weekend. So anyway, fast forward to 20. I thought I have a chance to give him this, you know, because he was truly Dr. King's brother keeper. But I just held on to it. My mom said you should mail it off to him. I said, I want to meet him and give it to him in his hands. Sometimes you just gotta do that thing, the simple things. But you know, at last he passed on. And you know what was crazy? I was thinking about him. Like I said, for the last several weeks, it became more intense. My thoughts about Harry Belafonte. And I remember I was at my job, vacuuming under people's desk and stuff like that. When I found the news, when I looked at my phone, and it like, wow, Harry Belafonte, legendary activist, actor, passes. And I said, I've been thinking about this man for several weeks, heavy. I ain't lying. I've been thinking about Harry Belafonte for the last several months, heavy, man. So I want to just encourage y'all, when y'all get those type of feelings and stuff like that about people, and I'm failing at that now because people have been on my mind, crossing my mind that I need to reach out to really seriously. And I have not done that. And I need to do that because I have lost several people recently that they were on my mind heavily. And I took that for granted. And now they're gone. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna give this to his family. I'll mail it to his foundation or whatnot. And that's it. Okay. Thank you. Let me look in the chats. Also, thank y'all for people who actually took the time to make the chats, the We All Be Tribe room, very interesting last week. I want to shout out to Bruce Kareem. I would love to have you on the show, brother, to talk about the legacy of automatics. After the show, I had a chance to look at everything you were saying in the chat, and I really enjoyed what you were saying, what you was bringing to the table. So I would love to have you on the show to talk about automatics' amazing legacy, because it has not been talked about enough by the so-called new black media. This is why it's the blind leading the blind. People talking this and that, and just selective outrage and all this BS. But anyway, Bruce Kareem, holler at me, weallbe@gmail.com. Also, my phone number, 901-299-4355. That's 901-299-4355. Also, you can email me, weallbe@gmail.com. You can send a text to my phone. I would love to have you on the show to talk about nothing but automatics and his amazing legacy. Because you seem like you know what you're talking about, and you was there. So thank you so much. See you in the chats. Thank you, brother Fuchil. I appreciate you tuning out to tune in again where you fit in. Hey, Jimmy Carter was interesting. Like I said, I have Jimmy Carter's story. I got the picture to prove it. But Jimmy Carter kind of threw me for a loop because he said that we didn't know what color Jesus was, and the Bible tells you the description, the physical description of Jesus in the Bible, in the Bible, in the Bible, in the Bible, the Bible. But Jimmy Carter, God bless him. Good evening, brother Ron. Thank you for tuning out. To tune in again when you fit in, Lucis. Yes, feel free. I got to be free. Yeah, I don't know. The funerals are interest. Nobody invites you, but everybody is expected to come. You know how funerals, nobody gets invited to the funeral, but everybody's expected to come. And it was weird to see Harry Belafonte absent because he was so close to the King family, so closely connected. Like I said, he was Dr. King's brother's keeper for real. But it is what it is. Ever, ever, and ever, ever, forever, ever. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Man, I'm hanging in there, man. It's tough. Like man, life is going at a high speed for me. I'm sure for everybody else, but it's like my thing. I'm frustrated because I feel like I'm so limited as a human being to be able to do all the things I want to do, to touch the people I want to touch in a good, positive way, not no freaky way. But I'm saying to inspire, to do my God work. I don't feel like, my time is not on my side. Time is not on your side. That song is an evil song. Time is on your side. Oh, yes, it is. No, no, it's not. It's not on your side. Time is never on anybody's side. Father Time ain't on your side, man. But I'm just hanging in there. And you know what reminds me? I was at work and it was funny because this woman was on my mind heavily. And I ain't vacuumed my office in weeks because we've been short on people at work. So I've been getting moved around like I'm in witness protection, vacuuming, mopping here and there, wiping down windows, doing all types of stuff because we're short on people. But the sister said, "Brother Ron." Oh, no, she said, "Ron, Mr. Ron." They need to call me Brother Ron. I agree with you, Law Dog. They need to start calling me Brother Ron. And some people do call me Brother Ron, which is interesting because they know my work. But anyway, she was running me down the hallway. I was busy spraying my good smelling sprays, but people talking about we got asthma, we got allergies, and I spray anyway. I respect their office space, but I feel like the hallways and stuff like that, that's open territory. That's free reign for me to spray as much good smelling aerosol products as much as possible. And she recognized the smell. Said, "Brother Ron, oh Mr. Ron, how you doing? I knew that was you." And she had a smile on her face. She was cool people, always interesting, conversationalist. And I said, "Oh, do y'all need some vacuuming in there?" She said, "Yeah." "Where you been?" I said, "Been moving around." And then we started talking before I got to the business of vacuuming. And she told me that there was going to be a ceremony yesterday. This was Wednesday morning. That there was going to be a ceremony later on that morning for her nephew, who worked as a lineman for Memphis Light Gas and Water. That's our utility company in Memphis. We call it Memphis Light Gas and Robbers because they charge people exorbitant amount of fees sometimes, like really crazy. But her nephew was a lineman at MLGW for 20 plus years, and he got killed on the job. Like he was in the line of duty. Lineman, that's dangerous work. Those guys be working on the lines, the telephone lines and stuff. Sometimes they have the trucks and they have the thing that lift them up into the sky. So you just trusting that people won't run into your truck or nothing crazy will happen to you. But unfortunately, he got killed recently. Just 48 years young, was a father of 6 children, 4 boys and 2 sons. And she was telling me, I believe, that his partner was actually killed 20 years ago this year, around the time he first started working at MLGW. His partner, they was doing some work in a place called Dead Man's Cove. So that's so you like the spooky foreshadowing or whatever they call it. Dead Man's Cove. They was working in Dead Man's Cove out in, I guess, out in Whitehaven, I believe, in Memphis, and a car lost control. It's kind of like some Final Destination stuff. His friend not only got hit by the car, but the car landed on him and crushed him to death. So I believe his friend left behind 5 daughters, if I'm not mistaken. But I know that her nephew, he left behind 4 sons and 2 daughters. And so they had a special ceremony for him. They inducted him into the Hall of Heroes, or the Wall of Heroes. He's actually, his name was near his partner's name who got killed 20 years ago on some Final Destination stuff. So shout out to her. I hope she's doing fine. We had a good conversation about relationships, about family, about life, and she really gave me a lot of insight and motivation to live my life to the fullest, to love the people I want to love and not make excuses, not compromise myself, just go for what I want. And so it was a reminder that life is not promised, that we could take a lot of things for granted, including the people that we love. So, okay, I think I did enough house cleaning and all that crap. Trying to see this thing. Yeah, I'll try to take it easy, long dog. I'll try to take it easy. But anyway, let's talk about what y'all want to hear about. this thing about Ebony K. Williams, and she said she wouldn't date a bus driver, right? And people got this what Chris Rock term, what coined the phrase selective outrage. Like when I first heard it as a clip, it bothered me. Ain't gonna lie to you, I like, whoa, who she thinks she is, right? But now, like days later, I'm like, okay, she's entitled to her opinion. That's her truth. Well, what's wrong with her saying that she don't date bus drivers? Not a big deal. But it's like a lot of people, in particular black folks, were in their feelings about it. Now it kind of come to a head because she should be going on an apology tour trying to straighten it out. And I think she should let it lay where it lay. The best way to understand how how her point of view came out is to actually watch the entire interview she did with Van Zant. Ailana or Iana, Ilana. I always get tongue tied trying to say, no, Van Zant, Fix My Life Van Zant. She did like a 20+ minute interview with Fix My Life Van Zant on the Griot YouTube channel. I guess I saw it on their YouTube channel. And if you just took that quote by itself, which she said, I don't date bus drivers unless he owned a bus company, and folks lost their sugar honey iced tea over that. And I like what Van Zant said. I think it was very humane. And, if he treats his mama well, if he takes pride in his work and then why not date a bus driver? But the point was that she didn't want to date a bus driver unless he had ambitions to own his own bus company. And to me, when I look at it now, it's like, okay, that's her opinion. She's fine. That doesn't really bother me. What's interesting though is like Dr. Umar Johnson. Like, I love Dr. Umar Johnson. I have no beef with Dr. Umar Johnson whatsoever, but he came for her though. He hit him up style. He came for her. He said, if she's snow bunny hopping, whatever she doing, he said, I don't mind what some of the things the sister said, but if she out there bunny hopping, if she out there engaged to a white man, then he pulled a card, man. And I think, to me, be honest with you, it doesn't really matter if she was engaged to a white man or she was dating a purple man or a yellow man. It doesn't really matter to me because, my thing is you should get with the folks you want to get with who can accept and receive you. You get with your tribe. And sometimes your tribe ain't going to have your same skin tone. You understand? That's your business. But with Dr. Umar, my problem with Dr. Umar is if black women are so great, Dr. Umar, why are you not married? Why aren't you married, Dr. Umar? Is Dr. Umar Johnson married to a black woman or black women? Because I think he want to have more than one wife. My thing would be, are you married to a black woman, brother? What is this thing about us, coming out to people who they love and who love them back? Because my thing is this, May 9th was the observation of the late, great John Brown's birthday. John Brown would be, if he was alive today, John Brown would be 223 years old. He was born in Connecticut back on May 9th, 1800. John Brown loved black folks more than some black folks love themselves. John Brown is a so-called white man, as a white man, loved black people more than they love themselves. John Brown wanted Frederick Douglass to go to Harper's Ferry with him to get that arsenal to arm the so-called enslaved people. And Frederick Douglass said, no, wrong, said Fred. I'm not going. Wrong, said Fred. I ain't going, man. Frederick Douglass said, I'm a lover, not a fighter, man. He ain't say that. I don't know it. But Frederick Douglass said, I can't go. Because it really was a suicide mission, to be honest. Like what John Brown doing, it was insane. But it was revolutionary suicide. It's a thing called revolutionary suicide, coined by the late, great Dr. Huey P. Newton. His autobiography is called, I believe, Revolutionary Suicide. It's worth a read. But I think John Brown knew he had to die in order so others could live free. And he even sacrificed his sons. He had two sons that got killed at Harper's Ferry, Oliver and Watson Brown. They gave up their life. His son, Watson, was in such pain. He died an agonizing death. Watson wanted to end his life like Dr. Kevorkian style. That please put me out my misery. His father said, "No, you're gonna die like a man." That's what John Brown told his son. You're gonna die like a man. You ain't gonna commit no suicide. You're gonna die like a man. And he died. He died a horrible, agonizing death. And actually, uh, the white folks down there at the local medical college, they mummified the remains of Watson Brown and used it as a teaching tool. Like they mummified him. That's an interesting. Look up that story about Watson Brown remains being mummified, and finally they brought his remains back to New York to rest alongside his father. And that's an interesting story in itself. That whole thing about Watson Brown being a mummy for years and decades, being on display, not just in the South, but also in places like Indiana. But anyway, which was a big Klan state after the resurrection of the Klan. But John Brown, like Malcolm said, he said, he said we'll draft John Brown. He because John Brown was a different type of white man. You know what I'm saying? He didn't see himself as better than the black man. He knew that slavery was evil. And he said, I try to do through peaceful means, but it must be done in blood now. So he gave up his life and he lost a whole bunch of sons behind this stuff. John Brown had about 20 kids I think he had like 20 kids. John Brown was getting it in. That man was a real Taurus. He was getting it in. He was getting it in. He was married twice. He lost his first wife, early death. Second wife outlived him. I think she lived to 1884 or something like that. But she's buried in California. She's not buried up in New York with him right now, anyway. But John Brown was a real one, and he was a so-called white man. And Frederick Douglass was even too afraid to really join John. He already knew what that was about. But Frederick Douglass spoke on him years later. He spoke on the greatness of John Brown. Harriet Tubman wanted to be at Harper's Ferry, but she was sick. So she missed out. And things happen for a reason. But anyway, Dr. Umar Johnson, if all you say is true about the greatness and the magicalness of black women, why aren't you married to a black woman right now? Why aren't you married to several black women right now? Oh, is he married? I don't know. I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. I actually like Dr. Umar. I met him some years ago, and I have nothing but respect. I don't have no problem with the school because I already know when you try to do things for our people, when you try to do things specifically for the empowerment of black people in a system that does not want black folks to have anything, it's going to take some time to build some things sometimes. I'm just going to be honest with you. I have no ill will to Dr. Umar, but I'm saying Dr. Umar, actions speak louder than words. Are you married to a black woman? That's the question. Are you married to one? Because if you say they so great, I'm not. This is not being Sophia. I'm not. I love black women. Don't get my mama's black, my aunties, my sister black, cousins black. I got. I love my grandma. She was a black woman. I love both my grandmas. They were black women. But what I'm saying is, I'm not interested in the bedroom politics no more. We're so far gone from that now. I'm gonna be honest with you. What they did to us starting some decades, let's say 60 years ago, the black family was broken up by design. So, man, 60 years ago, both set of my grandparents were married. Black grandparents. Both they were married. Now, 60 years later, we celebrating baby mama culture. Single mothers, single women, single ladies, right? We're not celebrating family. Even the so-called Black Lives Matter manifesto online was about, they said we got to get rid of the nuclear family. See, we were stronger when we was together, but it's too late now. I mean, white folks try to help us with Jim Crow. So you Negroes, you Negroes, stay over there. We white folks will stay over here. We have an understanding. Now we want to be with y'all. I only want to be with you. I only want to be with you. I only want to be with you. And we couldn't stay away. It's like Sammy Davis Jr. wasn't the only one who couldn't stay away from white folks. He was going to lose an eye. He was willing to lose both his eyes for white women. And he was talented, but Sammy Shimmy Man, Shimmy Shine Man, the shiny man, the candy man couldn't stay away from the sugar, from the white sugar. The candy man had a fetish for white sugar. So he couldn't stay away. So what I'm saying is they want us to stay away. Y'all keep on thinking it was an insult for them to say whites only water fountain, whites only restaurant. They were trying to let you know something was wrong with them from the get go. But black folks, we kind of slow. But anyway, we at where we at because Dr. King said we integrated into a burning house. And what Dr. King said, we must be like firemen then and put it out. And they put him out. This little light of mine, they not gonna let it shine. They not gonna let it shine. They not going to let it shine. Okay? Dr. King was the white man's greatest friend. And look what they did to Dr. King. Right across the street from me. So anyway, I don't see nothing wrong with what she said. Because it was her preference that she would not date a bus driver. And people got on her head about that. And people, that's why, your fiance left you because he chose his kids over you when they time to quarantine. I don't care about all that. Let that lady live. Let her have her choice, her preference. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm a janitor. Yes, I'm a janitor. You see that picture next to me? It's like she's looking at me. Oh my God, he's a janitor. Look at that. He's in the toilet bowl. He's in the toilet. He's digging for golden brown treasure. He's on that brown dookie treasure. You know, dirty job, but the money's clean. Dirty job, but I can go to sleep when I couldn't go to sleep with peace of mind, knowing I didn't screw nobody over to get some money. Like I actually made a person's work environment cleaner, healthier, and more productive because I take pride in my work. I take pride in scrubbing on toilets. I take pride in mopping floors. And even I mop floors 3 or 4 straight hours, I have no problem with doing that. It's good exercise. It's great exercise. Get my 10,000 steps, cardio, whatever. I could vacuum floors 3 or 4 hours. I could do the restrooms. I have no problem. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't feel like I got an inferiority complex and all that stuff. Oh, woe is me. No, I love being productive. I love being a use. I love being a servant to humanity by any means necessary. Whether it be on this podcast, giving some knowledge or information, but also just being of good use in everyday life. It is what it is. But I think it's interesting you start thinking about it. It's not really bad what she said about, owning the bus company. I work for a person who started out as just a cleaner. She was making minimum wage, but she had a love for cleaning things. They say cleanliness is next to godliness, and maybe she's like a very holy figure when it comes to cleanliness. This woman that I work for, who was a relative of mine, but she started out just cleaning, working for people, and now she got people working for her. Several different locations, different businesses, and she's award-winning entrepreneur. But yeah, she's one of the best at cleaning. She taught me how to clean. She taught everybody who's working for her now how to clean her way. And she went from being just a cleaner to now being the owner of a cleaning business. So she's calling shots. She's a different income bracket, and I'm very proud of her because I remember when she first started, doing the cleaning thing, how she was mistreated. People try to take advantage of her. People still trying to mess her over, but she is doing pretty well financially. She's in a recession-proof type of job where people need to have their offices and restrooms clean. So it's an honor to work for her, and it's an honor to be able to call on her when I'm short on my rent money on car note, get a job, and scrub some toilets and mop them floors and vacuum. And also the place I work at, a lot of beautiful black women, a lot of single beautiful black women making good money. I don't know what their financial situation is, but their cars look very nice. I don't know if they're getting chased around by the repo man, like they said this sister was, Eboni, getting chased around by the repo man, which was on the Real Housewives of New York or something one season, I think. I don't know. And she, but I make light conversation. Sometimes I go deep in my conversation. As you all know with the work I do, people assume, oh, it's He's just the help. Like, he's taking out the garbage, he's mopping floors, he's vacuuming. He takes pride in his work, but he's not on our level. I know that what they think, and then they start talking to me. They said, "Man, this guy's well read. This guy is interesting. Wow, he knows a lot of interesting things. I never thought he's very deep." Da 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 da. Because the thing about it is, there's a lot of people like me that work so-called blue-collar jobs. They're very intelligent, well-read, seekers of knowledge, life learners. In a lot of cases, they're making way more money. Not me, but there's a lot of people working like plumbers. Like somebody, Umar made a good point. Plumbers, and you got HVAC people, people in the trades, vocational people. They are making a lot of great, clean money, making more than so-called college-educated folks who's in debt. You know what I'm saying, including myself. So, but like, they start engaging. Oh, okay, this guy, he act. Cause one lady said, "You a reader?" I could tell you a reader. Like, I'm a reader. It's funny to hear somebody say that, but yeah. And the thing about it is not me think I'm better than anybody, but making myself more relatable and humane and accessible is interesting. But you know, people start looking at you differently. Like, oh, he opened his mouth and interesting things come out of him, and it's like he's very intelligent dude. I'm not bragging on myself. I had, I went to an Ivy League level school. They didn't do too much, but traumatized me, to be honest. A lot of trauma going through that predominantly white institution in the middle of the country. But that's another story for another day. But there's a lot of black girl magic going on, at the office, like the gatekeepers. Like it's like so many women that are working in that place, making very good money. Hardly any black men on that level as the women. Like a whole bunch of females, like supervisor, executive, da 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 da. Don't see a whole bunch of black men in that building. Like we have security, and we work in the mail room, but I don't see no black dude calling shots like the women are in that arena. And there's a lot of respect. My thing is this: to get to her point, I started thinking about stuff because also in the interview she talks about how her mom was a single mother and her father was not in her life, and you could tell that damaged her. I'm not saying that she's not worthy of being loved, but that damaged her because she kept on bringing up the fact that her father wasn't there for her. So she does not know what it looks like to be loved by a man in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like she's missing that piece. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Uh, the relationships with your parents are very important. It's the foundation for how you treat men and women in your life. Like, a man's relationship with his mother is the foundation for how he treats other women. A woman's relationship with her father is a foundation for how she views and treats men. And, and like if you are missing that key piece, how you know, I could give her a pass on how she feels about not dating bus drivers because she don't know what it is to be loved by a black man in a certain way. So I mean, I even read somewhere. Let me look it up and make sure. Let me make sure. I just kind of like how people pile on people, man. People like to bully people. I mean, she is entitled. She has a choice to mess around who she want to mess around. I don't care about it. That's her business. I'm not gonna sit here. Okay, I'm just reading a little bit. She said, Williams was raised by a single mother who was a bus driver. She received a Bachelor of Arts in Communications and African American Studies at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and a Juris Doctor from Loyola University, New Orleans College of Law. As a law student, Williams clerked for the Louisiana Secretary of State and the Louisiana Attorney General's office and assisted New Orleans council members in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Her mom was a bus driver. So it's interesting Van Zant chose to ask her a question about would you date a bus driver? She probably knew that her mom was a bus driver at one point. Maybe she got a thing about her mom. I don't know. Maybe she got this thing. I mean, it's interesting you start thinking about that question, but to me, at first it's kind of like it's upsetting, but then you start thinking about it. She's not. I don't believe she was dissing black working class people. We want to assume that she was. I mean, but she's boule. She bougie. She's educated. She got caught trying to steal some shoes when she was younger. Judge had mercy on her, whatever. And people said, well, her license, her license to practice law is suspended as it relates to North Carolina, da da da. She said, well, the reason why is this and that. And I don't know, man. Uh, she talked about how she did a lot of shows, like she was on NFL Network, and a lot of different shows, pro bono for free. Uh, she was getting paid to do doc reviews, like she reviewed documents, legal documents. She getting paid maybe like $25 an hour. And then, like I talked about on the Real Housewives, they showed her getting chased around by the repo man, trying to repossess her car. So is she really the American success story, or is it a facade? I mean, she looks the part. She's a good looking woman. She's very intelligent. She's well read. She's well spoken. But, you know, do she really understand or understand anything? How she project herself? Because, like, at the end of the day, she's 40 years old, or will be 40 this year, and she's by herself because she chose not to date bus drivers. And it's not saying that she deserves to be by herself, but at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself a question: what is the common denominator in all your relationships, all your failed relationships? It's you. You are the common denominator in all your relationships, whether they successful or failures. It's you. So there you go. But I don't, my thing is, I would tell people to watch the whole interview with Van Zant, Fix My Life, Mrs. Fix My Life, before you jump to conclusions about what she was saying. Cause I don't believe she was trying to throw the whole black community, so-called community, under the bus. I could be mistaken. Because a lot of people say, well, she's conservative. I'm going to tell y'all something. Before the 60s, black folks were proud to be Republicans. Because really, we're conservatives in a lot of ways. We're not as liberal as we want to think. And to me, Malcolm warned us about liberals and about so-called Democrats or Dixiecrats and stuff like that. I believe Malcolm X and Ida B. Wells Barnett will be canceled right now because they lean more towards the black, they lean more towards conservative side than anything. Ida B. Wells believed in the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. She said the Winchester rifle should have a place of honor in every black household, something to that effect. And Malcolm dedicated the last 2 years of his life making speeches about beware of the foxy white liberals and the white liberal government and these Dixiecrats and Democrats and all that. So they were making speeches and writing stuff about, black family matters and, be wary of white liberalism and so-called progressives. And, they would not, Candace Owens and Ida B. Wells would be treated the same right now. Y'all keep on thinking they wouldn't, because Ida B. Wells, it's about Ida B. Wells. Like I read last week, she came out of slavery, right? And she was a black woman, a beautiful, phenomenal black woman. And she defended Freddie Douglass' right to be with a white woman. She defended, that was her jegna. He helped her, and she went against Susan B. Anthony, the leader of the suffrage movement, and said, how dare you disinvite Frederick Douglass from this conference because he's married to a white woman. That's ridiculous. And so we don't know our ancestors as well as we should know them. You can read Ida B. Wells. Like she said, the reason why she wrote her autobiography because she knew they would try to write out of history. She said they will try to write me out of history, so I'm gonna write my autobiography. And not only autobiography, but read her pamphlets and all this stuff, the newspaper articles she wrote. She was very fascinating. I don't think that Ida B. Wells is a feminist like some of these black women say they're feminists. She wasn't that type of feminist at all. She believed in black patriarchy. She believed in black men being strong leaders. She really do believe in black men leading the household. She really believed in that. There's nothing I'm making up. You can read her in her own words talking about it. in her Memphis diary, looking for a strong black man. Her husband was a man of such integrity and strength. He didn't mind his wife having a hyphenated name. Wells Barnett. They always, and it's funny what they do. When you talk about Ida B. Wells, you never mention the Barnett, the hyphen Barnett. That's her man. That's her man who held her down, who allowed her the space to be herself. That's her man's. That's her man's name. Put some respect on the man's name. Ferdinand Barnett, put some respect on the hyphenated. You got President Imhoff, Vice President Imhoff, Kamala Harris. She walk around, what? Why she don't got no hyphen? Why she ain't put no Imhoff, no Harris dash Imhoff, right? But Ida B. Wells had enough respect for a black man to make sure she carried his name as well on her last name. So you see how it works. But no, it's a problem right now. There's no really strong black male leadership anywhere. Like not in business. Okay, you got Robert Smith. We just heard about Robert Smith not because we keep up with the Wall Street Journal and all that stuff, because he was a commencement speaker for Morehouse graduates several years ago, and he said, I'm gonna pay off your college debt, and they put him on the radar and made him a target as well for the powers that be. Because like I told you, anytime you try to do things to help black people first, you putting a target on your back. So they set the IRS after Robert Smith, trying to destroy that man. And luckily he was able to get out of that, maneuver out of that. But they'll try to send him a warning. Don't try to do stuff like that no more. Because he was on the radar, but he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. And his first wife was a black woman. And his second wife is a other. And that's his business. They don't make him less black. He's a black man in America. I don't care how many billions of dollars he got in the bank. If he, get caught up in a certain situation where they're not aware of who he is, he could be caught up like Tyree Nichols or George Floyd or anybody. It don't mean nothing, but the fact that he helped them brothers out, because what he did was, regardless of who he's married to, he's making sure that black families would not become extinct. You got to think about by him alleviating the debt from them brothers coming out of college. It allows them to pursue certain things to put them in a position to raise strong black families. So really what he did, regardless of who he chooses to sleep with at night, he's helping to make sure that black folks can survive. Because some of them black men are going to marry black women and have black families. But, people got to understand, we are so not where we used to be. White folks forced us to deal with each other. That's why we were stronger in a lot of ways in Jim Crow as a unit than we are now, because we was limited in the ways we could navigate in society. And we had to deal with the good, the bad, and ugly of us. We had to deal with us. And that's why, it's sad. You look at some of these high schools back in the day, these high schools keep sending folks everywhere. Like Manassas High School, it was a black high school in North Memphis, but it prepared you to deal with life in general. Like you could excel in any place in the world on this planet because you had the foundations of teachers that taught you to believe in yourself, that looked like you, that encouraged you to be the best version of yourself. Then to take the best of our people, to put them in alienated, unsupported, traumatizing environments. So that's why the talented tip didn't work for us, because you took the talented tip away from the community. You cut off the head of the dog so the tail stopped wagging. We were strongest when we control our education, when we control our economics, when we was able to do for self. Now, my thing is, I'm not going to knock a person for wanting to date outside they soul. Just don't hate your people. If you're going to date a white man, don't hate black men. If you're going to date white women, don't hate black women. If you can help it. Because my thing is not about, I'm 43 years old. Like I said, I see these women, a lot of them single, we talk, I clean the desk, but they don't see me as somebody on their level, perhaps. It's interesting. uh, Harry Belafonte and Sidney Poitier, at one point before they became iconic, superstars of film and television and music, whatever they was doing, they were janitors. Harry Belafonte was a janitor when he got the acting bug. When he said, "I want to be an actor," he was a janitor. Sidney Poitier was a janitor at one point. They're about to come out with a movie I want to see. The man who created Flaming Hot Cheetos, the guy who created Flaming Hot Cheetos was a Mexican American. And guess what he was before he became known as the man who created Cheetos? He was a janitor. He was a janitor working for Frito-Lay. And the reason why he came up with Flaming Hot Cheetos was trying to save the factory from closing down. This is a true story. Eva Longoria directed this movie. I want to see it. It's called, let me find this movie poster and look at it. Look at the trailer. I just saw this yesterday. And I said, this movie is going to be great. Because this dude was a janitor. Don't mean he was like not worthy. I mean, he saved the company. I think it's called Flaming Hot. Let me look it up. This is We All Be. I'm about to shut it up and shut it down. My thing, I'm not as sensational as a lot of people when it comes to stuff like that. I try to let cooler heads prevail. Flaming Hot Cheetos movie. It's called Flaming Hot, and it tells the story of Flaming Hot Cheetos. let me put this up. Oh my God. Y'all heard it from Brother Heard. Y'all got to see this movie. I want to see this movie because it actually looked pretty good. You know what? Let me see if I can play. Should I play? Well, I'll get a copyright strike. This is the thing. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, I found a poster of them. This is We All Be, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. It's a Hulu Disney movie, so I guess it would be family friendly. But it's about the dude who invented Flaming Hot Cheetos. I'm gonna get off the phone. I'm gonna get off this show because it's go back. Why not own what you can produce? You know what I'm saying? America is about an ownership society. George Carlin said it best. I love George Carlin. He's one of my favorite comedians of all time because he was a truth teller at the highest level. He basically said that this is an ownership society. If you don't own anything, you don't matter. Because who made up the rules to this country? It was a white man who owned property. Not just white men, but white men who owned stuff had the goal to make the rules. It wasn't until the guy on the $20 bill came along that all white men could vote in this country. Not just the wealthy white men, but all white men could vote. So there was Andrew Jackson. But anyway, let me see something. And I just want to share this with you all. I have a lot on my mind, but I'm just trying to put out some food for thought. I'm talking about Cheetos of all things. But you see this movie Flaming Hot. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna do a review on it when it comes out, whatever, when it's available. But man, I'm gonna tell you something. Okay, this is the poster, Flaming Hot. It's coming out June the 9th. That's Jackie Wilson and Johnny Ace's birthday, June the 9th. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Make it too big. Okay. Maybe that's too big. I'll just stick with this type. Okay. Let me read something about this thing. Y'all can see it, right? It's coming out June the 9th. What is it about? Well, let me read a little bit. Because reading is fundamental. It's fun and mental to read. It's fun and mental to really read, man. So a lot of our favorites is directed by Eva Longoria. I know Eva Longoria. This marks the directorial debut of Eva Longoria, of course. I always get Ava confused with Ava Mendez. Ava Longoria is a Mexican American or a Texican, as she calls herself. And Ava Mendez is a Cubano or Cuban American. So she's from Miami, and Ava Longoria is from Texas, Corpus Christi, Texas, right? So I always get them confused. Eva Mendez played the mistress of Denzel character, Officer Alonzo Harris in Training Day, and Eva Longoria was a desperate housewife, and she, starred in soaps back in the day. Not that long back in the day, like back 20 years ago, back in the day. But also, you know, she was married at one point to the Frenchman Tony Parker, the basketball great Tony Parker. You know what I'm saying? Who loved mayonnaise on his French fries. He eat the mayonnaise on his French fries, and of course, Eva Mendez is connected to Ryan Gosling, the Canadian Ryan Gosling, Canadian. So I guess she it's interesting. But they both are actually Pisces. Eva Longoria born March 15th of 75. And I believe Eva Mendez born March the 9th of 74. But they both aging fine like wine, man. Fine like wine, man. You see how it works. But also, Eva Mendez training today, Hitch, and all that stuff as well. So anyway. And Tony Parker, the Frenchman. The crazy Frenchman. I guess you say one Ava liked French toast at one point, and the other one still loves Canadian bacon. See how it works? That's the mind of a foodie right there. Right there, right there. One love. Anyway, let's get back to the story. One love. Okay, Flaming Hot is a 2023 American biographical biopic comedy drama film directed by Eva Longoria and written by Louis Kolick and Linda Yvette. It is based on the memoir A Boy, a Burrito, and a Cookie from Janitor to Executive by Richard Montanez, and on the life stories of Montanez and his wife Judy, the former who claimed to have invented Flaming Hot Cheetos. The film stars Jesse Garcia, Annie Gonzalez, Dennis Haysbert, and Tony Shalhoub. Flaming Hot had its world premiere at South by Southwest on March 11, 2023, and is scheduled to be released on June 9th, 2023 by Hulu and Disney Plus. Based on the true story of Richard Montanez, a Frito-Lay janitor who claimed to have invented the snack food Flaming Hot Cheetos. The authenticity of Montanez's story has since been contradicted by the Frito-Lay Corporation. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. It sounded good, right? A janitor invented Flaming Hot Cheeto. And Frito-Lay said, hey, that's not true. Or they contradict. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up now. Hold up. Hey. Okay. But he started as a janitor, right? And let me look at something else too. I know y'all like gangster stuff. Y'all in that gangster. America is nothing but a big mob, a big mob corporation, mafia. Let me see. Casper Holstein. Y'all know who Casper Holstein was? Casper Holstein was that guy. I'm gonna put up Casper Holstein. Woo. I'm about to wrap it up because I got something special to do. But I want to thank y'all for hanging out with Brother Ron tonight. But that Flaming Hot, look it up. Internet is amazing. Ain't nothing but a gangster party. I'm gonna end it with this and wrap it up. You remember the movie Hoodlum? I know you remember the movie with Lawrence Fishburne and Andy Garcia and Cicely Tyson playing. Madam St. Clair. It's a great gangster movie, but all these Hollywood movies are historically inaccurate. Y'all know that, right? They based on a true story, but it's not the true story. It's based on a true story. So I want to talk about this man that he's been forgotten about by history. That's Casper Holstein. He's the father of numbers, of policy. We're known as the policy, the ghetto lottery. He's the founder of that. Let's see, make the picture a little bit bigger. Give him his respect, man. That's Casper Holstein. Let's read something about Casper. He's not a friendly ghost. He's a ghost now because he's dead, but not a ghost. So Casper Holstein was a prominent New York mobster involved in the Harlem numbers racket during the Harlem Renaissance. Okay. His birth name was Egbert Joseph. He changed his name in honor of his maternal grandfather Holstein, born of mixed African and Danish descent in St. Croix, Danish West Indies. Casper Holstein moved to New York City with his mother in 1884. His father was a landed mulatto who owned a butcher shop and owner of a large farm. His mother was the daughter of an officer in the Danish militia. Attending high school in Brooklyn, he enlisted in the United States Navy following his graduation. During World War I, he was able to revisit his birthplace while stationed in what has become the United States Virgin Islands. After the war, Holstein worked as a janitor and doorman in Manhattan, eventually becoming a messenger and then head messenger for a commodities brokerage on Wall Street. See what I'm saying? You see how he started? He worked as a janitor and doorman and then a messenger, and then became the head messenger in charge, right? The head messenger in charge. He was born December 7, 1876, and he died April 5th, 1944, at the age of 67, right? So he said during this time, he began to become familiar with the stock market and began studying the system and numbers. He was eventually able to devise a lottery system based on those principles. Previously, under and before Matthews, the number was set by a system in which a set of digits 0 to 9 were drawn out at random and posted in the clubhouse. This, however, allowed for the organizer to cut losses by fixing the outcome. It also created limitations on disseminating the winning number out to the gamblers. There were unrelated statistical numbers published by newspapers, which Holstein found could be used by organizers instead. At various times, the U.S. Custom House receipts, New York Stock Exchange daily share volume, and leading horse race per mutual betting handle have all been used to set the daily number. This change permitted a larger number of gamblers to play the same game, and will produce fear of fixing. As the prohibition began, Holstein's lottery system proved popular, and soon Holstein became known as the Bolita King, going on to earn an estimated $2 million from his lotteries. Yeah, black man, them pennies and nickels added up $2 million. Not bad for a janitor, right? But the white folks, they saw what he was doing, and there's come Dutch Schultz, and the rest is history. And they kidnapped his brother, had to give up the ghost and get out of town, whatever. Anyway, by the way, man, this is a janitor, right? So Ebony Williams, she wouldn't date a janitor, And to me, now she said a bus driver, my bad. But he is a janitor. He was a janitor. But that's just a job. That's not his DNA. He wasn't born a janitor. It's just a job to pay bills, but it paid off for him. Because people don't understand, when you work as a janitor, as cleaning, you have access to offices that hold important information. And a lot of that important information is in the garbage. That's why they have shredders in the offices. A lot of times they throw away stuff that should be shredded. So, think about one man's junk is another man's treasure. So the father of the policy game, as we know it, the numbers, the ghetto lottery, started as a janitor. There you go. So anyway, let me look through the chat room, see what y'all talking about. Yes, brother Ron. Yes, you're right. I mean, I'm easy to talk to. I mean, um, Sister Sabrina, my information is everywhere. You know, I got email, weallbe@gmail.com. Phone number, of course, 901-299-4355. Brother Ron Wild call tonight. That Boosie called again. Okay. Well, anyway, I guess that's enough. But hey, I ain't gonna throw Ebony Williams on the bus. I don't have a problem with the sister having a preference. That's her preference. That's right, sister. That's how it should be. But a lot of successful distractions over this. These, I said 60 years. It's been in the works, like the destruction of the family. But it started with the black family, because some of the most married people in the country were black people. And you see what they self destruction. We headed for self destruction. So you need to see how it goes. But we need to get back. I want to challenge us men to step up and to try to own some stuff. Like I don't, you know, it's funny when she's talking about being the owner of the bus company. Go back to the Montgomery bus boycott, right? Where Dr. King and them had a chance to buy the bus company. The Montgomery white folk wanted to sell the bus company. You had S.B. Fuller, who was the wealthiest black man in the country at the time, and A.G. Gaston, who was the wealthiest black man in Alabama, millionaires. They went to, I mean, they deferred to Dr. King and said, Dr. King, the white folks want to sell the bus company. And Dr. King, I mean, who is that? I mean, Dr. King was just in his 20s, you know what I'm saying? And he was no businessman. Dr. King didn't know how to make no money. He was always trying to raise money and beg for money to do the things he felt would be the right thing to do for the people. But he said, no, we're not interested in buying the bus company. Dr. King said, we're not interested in buying the bus company. I mean, but they said they want to sell us the bus company. Then, like, his last speech was about, you know, investing in black businesses and black banks and black insurance companies. You know, what good is the sit in the restaurant you can't afford to eat the hamburger and all this, and boycott Coca-Cola and Wonders Bread and all them for not giving us black jobs when they take our black dollars. You know, he was singing a different tune because he realized they integrated into a burning house. Mm. Also, the John Brown story is interesting because they talk about the secret six of these, you know, prominent white men who allegedly financed the John Brown's campaign, but it was a black woman named Mary Ellen Pleasant who was a wealthy landowner from California, and she could pass for white. She actually helped supply a lot of money to John Brown's campaign. Some estimates say it will be about $1 million in today's money. So that's another story. But John Brown, to me, I mean, I'm looking at the color of his character, and we all bleed red too. I mean, he put his not only his life on the line, but the life of his family. His sons got killed trying to free black people. So I mean, all this, I don't know, man. Like I'm like Jim Brown, man. I had some white folks help me along the way. It'll be a lot to say I help white people who helped me. I had black folks who hurt me along the way. And but the thing about it is, let's look at people as being human, and human beings are capable of any and everything. Human beings are capable of any and everything. So my thing is, um, we should try to love one another, but more importantly, learn how to love yourself and forgive yourself and move forward in what God has called you to do. And that's it. Okay. All right. I think I'm through for now. Let me keep this slow. Okay. If you like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. You know, if you like to support the movement, knowledge is the currency of the universe, but they're not accepting knowledge at the MLGW or at the at Navy Federal Credit Union. So please feel free. If you move by Brother Herb and the word, you can cash out your support, $sign R2C2H2. That's $sign R2C2H2. You can Google Pay, PayPal, and Zelle your support, r2c2h2@gmail.com. That's r2c2h2@gmail.com. You can Vimo your support at r2c2h2. That's at r2c2h2. Let's say r2c2h2 at r2c2h2. Applecast, of course, 901-299-4355. Applecast 901-299-4355. Also, you can do the patreon.com/we all be. Look for we all be on patreon.com. That's patreon.com/we all be. You can buy or commission Artivist art, the r2c2h2.com. Yeah, also you can wear Artivist. I got my Jimmy Lunsford shirt. We got the reflame ceremony coming up for Jimmy Lunsford, June 6th, Rain on Shine in Elmwood Cemetery. We're honoring the father of jazz music education, who had the greatest swing band of all time, who was the #1 dance band for black people back in the 30s and 40s, nicknamed the Harlem Express. Glenn Miller said it best. He says, Duke is great, counts as in Basie is remarkable, but Lunsford tops them both. That's Jimmy Lunsford. So we, resurrecting the dead, because we all be in it to win it, and we all should be loving each other madly. So let me read a disclaimer, and we out of here, man. I thank y'all for tuning out to tune in to get in where you fit in with this truly creatively maladjusted crew. That's we all be. That's me and you. We gonna get it, because we all be free someday soon. So I'm just doing my little rap. Judge is good. His judge in the house. Judge O'Brown good at that rap. Oh, I got some exciting guests. I got some good things coming now very soon. We all be news. We got some great guests I'm lining up. So support this, man. If y'all want to see more of this stuff, please support. Okay. Disclaimer, man. The views expressed by hosts and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge and deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. So y'all know how to get in touch with me. I ain't that hard to find. Somebody said, "How can we talk?" I mean, y'all know how to get in touch. I text message is great. Call, email. I gotta return a lot of emails. Jesus Christ. But anyway, somebody said his work schedule. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Like Law Dog said about the man should be the head and the woman's neck. Teamwork make the dream work. I'm gonna tell you something. People ask me, why are you not married, Brother Ron? I think people know the answer to that. I think it's weird why I'm not married. Because I want somebody who's a help and not a hindrance. That understand the assignment why I was put here to do. I would love to be with somebody who loves me enough to understand what I do and give me time and space and also invest in me to get this workout. Like you look at Dr. King. Dr. King, he chose the right woman. People gonna be some things coming out about Dr. King. I don't really care about all that. Coretta was his Isis to his Osiris. She resurrected his legacy. She makes sure that his death was not in vain. She started working on the King Center as soon as he dropped dead, right? People like Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson, they were saying, "Oh, move on, Coretta. Just move on. Just lick your wounds and move on." She refused to move on. She was steadfast in trying to make sure she could secure the King Center, make sure she made her husband's birthday a holiday or a holiday, whatever you want to call it, and make sure that her family could get some generational wealth off his intellectual property. That was Coretta Scott King did for the King brand. She elevated it. That's why it's important to marry the right type of woman or women, whatever you want, because they help make sure that the work was not done in vain. If you got the right woman on your side, she will make sure, like Frederick Douglass, I promise you, I don't believe, and I could be wrong, that white woman did not save Frederick Douglass' home and did all the stuff she did in the last 8 years of her life, we might not revere Frederick Douglass like we do today. We may not revere him. We may not have revered him like we did today. If it wasn't for that white woman at the end. Now, she didn't bury his children, but she was a carekeeper of his legacy. She secured his home. And I would tell people, you are in the D.C. area, go to Anacostia area, and pay your respects to Frederick Douglass' home, Cedar Hill. It's worth the trip. I've been there years ago, but it was worth it. It was amazing. Amazing. So what I'm saying is, maybe the schedule will not be as hectic if he has somebody help him organize his schedule, to help him with things that, he could delegate. I mean, look, man, I'll open. I'm 43 years old. It's people my age and a little bit older than me that are in retirement homes because they have nobody. They have nobody. They might have a lot of kids. They might be a Rolling Stone. A Rolling Stone get us no moss, but they have no kids. They have no grandkids. They haven't met that. I mean, people out here dropping dead. People out here dying of loneliness and despair. People out here living quiet lives. I mean, lives of quiet desperation, right? But anyway, a woman will help you smooth you out. The right woman will help smooth you out. Like, it's funny, you look at, well, Dr. King had all these mistresses, but the reason why, if he did allegedly have mistresses, was because Coretta helped smooth out the rough edges. She helped mold that man into what he ended up becoming. She helped him to project a certain type of image that these women want. Because mistress, a lot of times, they have it easy to me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the wife, she got to deal with all the stuff. You know what I'm saying? The mistress, she could tell you, it's time for you to go back to your wife, man. It was fun, but you got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Go back home, man. Be with your wife. You could be with me on the road. You be with your wife at home. You don't need me. Let your wife take care of all that stuff. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But yeah, he could say that. When people say their schedule is too hectic, it's like you missing out on. I mean, life. You got to have fun in life. You got to live a little bit. It can't all be trying to make deadlines all the time. You be dead. Sister Sabrina, thank you for tuning out to tune in and get it when you fit in. I don't know if I make a lot of sense. I mean, it's one something in the morning. I appreciate it though. That's good to know. You don't know how much that moves me. Oh yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Thank you so much, Law Dog. You really been a help. Thank you for moderating. We love you madly. And thank y'all. Until the next time, we all be in it to win it. Keep on producing and pushing. And in the mortal words of Duke Elton, we love you madly. One love. Let me get that right. Man, I need to work on this. Did I get it right? Okay. It's one. Y'all see the I can get one love, one heart, man. Dang.
Hey, everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that jingle review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014. And so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace.